Hey, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hanging On to Hope podcast.
I'm Brenda J.
And I'm Karen Wonder.
And we are HangingOnToHope.org.
This podcast is intended as educational and is not psychological or medical advice. Always consult a professional when needed, and we disclaim any liability in connection with the instruction, information, or advice given. Thanks for listening to the Hanging On to Hope podcast. This is Karen B., formerly Karen W., and I'm here with Brenda J., and we're going to talk about the religion business, which is what our last few podcasts have been about. And we both just watched episode 1. It's a docuseries. It's a 7-part docuseries. And we've only seen the first episode so far, but we were just going to share our thoughts on it and talk about that a little bit. Yeah, I like how it started out and kind of just gave a brief history of the church and, you know, Rome and Greece and America and just all the differences and how everything shifts and, you know. And I like Julie Roy's because we went to her conference and, you know, I thought she summarized really well when she was talking about mega churches, not that bashing mega churches, but she said it definitely affected the smaller churches and church attendance overall, and some of the more problems that can be prominent in a mega church versus a smaller church.
Yeah. You know? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was brilliant, everything that he did.
Yeah.
I feel like I was blown away with all of it.
Yeah.
But like seeing that, you know, he didn't just go to the mega churches. He interviewed, you know, the church that had to close its doors. And
it was sad.
Yeah. And you hear those different stories and you see the breadcrumbs and how it led him every step of the way. And I'm just so excited to see.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch the rest of them.
Where it takes it. But it was just so well done.
Yeah. It was hopeful. I felt hopeful because I feel like we talked about this before we did the podcast, but I think a lot of people that Julie Royce or even Nathan himself, people judge him thinking, oh, he's just pointing out all the problems in the church. He just hates the church. But it's opposite. It's because you love the church that you're trying to protect, you know, what the church is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a representation of Jesus Christ. So if there's things that are causing that to be marred, then we need to call attention to it. Not to just shame it and say, that's bad, but to say, let's fix this. Let's get back to what it's supposed to be because, and you know, he explains that really well. It's really, churches are set up, it's really easy to be fraudulent, unfortunately.
I mean, it just exposes all the loopholes.
Yeah.
And it was wow.
Yeah, because really they don't have to report anything.
No.
They are tax exempt, and so they can get away with a lot. And so that's why there should be transparency. And I feel like his docuseries is going to show, wow, why are they trying to cover this up so bad? Because you see that even in episode 1. That they didn't want, get out of here. You need to leave, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why are they so protective of that? It should be, if you don't have anything to hide, let's show you
exactly
this. And that should be something like something's wrong here if you're not willing to let us see the books.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be good for everybody, even us like smaller nonprofits, to get your stuff in order.
Yeah.
And be accountable for what God gives you.
Yeah.
It's from the Lord, you know, and you know, he calls us to do those things in his gospels and to help the poor and all that. And so it's just, and to be accountable with that. Those resources that you are given, if you're given any. Yeah.
And to think about, because God is so creative, and that's one thing that I think he'll get into more in the series too, is like, there's other ways, you know, the way that we're doing it, begging for money. And that's just a big thing for me too, because my dad was never a big churchgoer. And I remember my dad saying, oh, they just want your money.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that. A lot of people aren't interested in church or Christianity because of that. So it is a problem.
Right.
You know, and so I think he's going to show that there's other ways around that. He's not just saying you can't go to a mega church and he's not saying that at all.
Right.
You have to really watch all the episodes and see where it's going.
And I do find it interesting that on the app, a lot of people don't have so we helped beta test the app and we got onboarded and had to have all our documentation ready, which I had. But surprisingly, a lot of nonprofits don't have anything ready.
Yeah.
And are not ready to answer the questions. They may be, and they may take their time to get in there. But it's just surprising. I think because the rules and regulations are so lax with the IRS that I think everyone needs to be accountable. I feel like it made me realize, wow, I was in a much better position than most people because I had all that stuff ready. And I was like, this is interesting. And I'm sure everyone will get, come alongside and get all their paperwork together. But it was just shocking to hear that people don't have it. Yeah. So. Or they do have it and they don't want you to see it. Yeah. One of the two. I don't know. That's probably more common. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. And the app doesn't score you on if someone has a salary or something, it's just based off of if you're willing to show that information. Right. Transparency. So, the transparency doesn't care if, who's getting what, as long as you disclose it. Right. And that's what I love about it, because it's not a judgmental, well, he's making too much money, it's like, but what are they spending on other things? And then they're going to let the donor decide who they want to give to based off of the information. So, right. And their willingness to, I don't know how that works. Is he going to have all churches on there, whether they are willing to show, because he says they have the database, right? I don't know. I think you have to make it a choice to onboard. But if you don't provide anything, then your score's real bad. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. I like just what I looked at. I was interested in looking at the other nonprofits that are on there, of just learning about. Yeah, I read it all because I had to help with it all. And I'm like, how can I get a 10, guys? But I couldn't because there was like a third party audit and stuff that we don't have that, you don't get until you're like big and have, like a mega there was a couple that we just can't have. So that was the highest score we could get. But I'm like, if you do a good job on something, you want to have the highest score. Yeah. The best grade. I think that's normal. Anyway, as far as the docuseries goes. I like that they talked about some of the legalities, like he had it printed up there about, what a 501(c)(3). Yeah. It was just interesting to learn about that. Yeah, because I'm sure most of the population doesn't really understand what any of this is. Yeah, and why you would want to switch from being a nonprofit to a church. Like she said, Rabbi Zacharias changed to being a church, Yeah, I like the first pastor that I think it starts, he's on a couch talking to a guy that's a pastor. I don't remember the guy's name, but I like what he said too about there's two different stories. The way, if you're running a church like a business, it's really hard to maintain the story of Christ. Right. Because you're going to start prioritizing, but we need to do this. We need to have and I think that's the problem. And I thought that was great, his answer. And that's why that scripture, you can't serve both God and money. Yeah. Makes so much sense because it's really hard. Yeah. Like I think sometimes when you have a lot of money, it takes a lot of thought to figure out what to do with it. And then you have to somehow put God first in the midst of all that money you're trying to do. And it's just, I just rather have God than worry about all the money because and I think about I choose him. Right. And I think about our podcast we did with the church called Tove with Scott McKnight and Laura McKnight. I remember him saying, talking about there is such a culture. I think when you do become a mega church, I think it's human nature because you have so many people. Because, when you go to church, you really do admire and respect your pastor because he's helping you grow. He's giving you insights. And I think if you're going to church and it's growing and growing and growing and you're getting so much feedback from people that, wow, we really love your message. And I think it's human nature when you're getting, it just continues growing and you're getting more money coming in. I think even Scott McKnight said, if you're not taking steps to like humble yourself. Right. Then it's going to happen. You can get a big ego pretty quick. Yeah. Our human nature, like, wow, look how successful I am. Look how much we've grown. And I think, that's why I'm not trying to villainize. I don't think he's trying to villainize the pastors necessarily. It's like, I can see why the church is set up right now where that's really easy to happen. Oh, yeah. And that's why there does need to be accountability because our human nature is to be like, wow, look at all this, think it's all your own growth or whatever. Yeah. Instead of realizing, no, this is God's thing. And so that's why I think there does need to be, churches all should have accountability. Nonprofits should all have accountability. Yes. I noticed in my life, even when one really great thing happens and I think that I had a part in that, I've noticed that ego coming up right away. And I'm like, I think God's going to humble me in about 5 minutes. And then he usually does.
I better humble myself right now.
Some days I'll be like, I got a good test result from the doctor. I'll be like, you know what? Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to hold on to this for the day. Nothing can take away this good test result from me. Yeah. So I start to be humble about it and think of it in a different way. But sometimes there's certain things where you're that prideful.
Yeah, I think it's human nature.
Start to well up. And then I know, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little prideful on this. He's about to humble me. Yeah. And he always does. But imagine it. I'm in a tiny little scale in my life. I've simplified my life to where I can stay humble. Yeah. But imagine, like you just said, that scenario of your church is growing. Everybody's complimenting you. Yeah. And it's pretty soon.
Yeah. The temptation would definitely be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah.
So anyway, see, I kind of watched, somehow I ended up on episode 3. And realized I missed 2 and then started watching 2. And so I'm a little mixed up on what was in 1 right now because I have all this. So I'm just trying to keep it with episode 1. Yeah. Yeah. I want to maybe try to watch episode 2 tonight because it gets really good.
You just want to binge watch it. But it was getting late last night. So otherwise it would be something it'd be easy to binge watch. It's very well done. I mean, it's entertaining as well as interesting, but it's something we're both passionate about it. So that's why we wanted to interview Nathan and talk about it.
Yeah. And I mean, I just want to compliment them on just a job well done on the, on the artistic side and but you can tell he's an Emmy Award winning director because I do editing and I know how he just did a perfect job.
Yeah. It is very well done. I was very impressed. It makes me ready to watch the rest of it.
Yeah. It's like going to the movies. Yeah. For sure. It's that high quality and just exceeded my expectations beyond what I could have ever imagined.
Well, and it's a conversation that just needs to be had. So I'm glad that he's having the conversation.
Yeah. And we'll just continue to pray for him and that the show and for the Docuseries, we do have a discount link. Yeah. That they gave us.
Yeah, you got to scroll down. Remember, Brenda? I got it at 15.
I didn't scroll down on my phone and it's $15 for the app and the.
Yeah. Which is what I purchased.
And I paid 19 because I didn't scroll down. And then she goes, it's 15. I'm like, and then I call her on the phone and she goes, we just laughed.
She's like, I didn't scroll down.
I'm like, what's wrong with me?
She goes, other people aren't going to scroll down. I'm like, well, I did.
So anyway, I paid more. I paid more for it and I didn't need
to. It's still worth $19 though.
Yeah. But it's 15 if you get the app too.
Yeah. The app is great. I mean, just even the nonprofits that are on there. I mean, and pretty soon, eventually it will have more nonprofits. It'll have churches on there. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just in the learning about other nonprofits. Other nonprofits that I'm interested in. So. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, super cool. I can't wait to see what churches get in there.
Yeah, I know. It will be interesting.
But anyway, there's a link and just click on that if you're interested in it. We don't know if at any time it'll be free or not, but
it sounds like eventually it will be.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea. And I had a comment from somebody on Instagram asking me why I was charging money. And I was like, I got a little upset because we don't make any money. Yeah. and I struggle to make money, in my life. Every situation I go through seems like a battle and I'm okay with that if that's God's plan for me, but I don't like being accused of making money when I'm not at all. And I have none. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'd be nice if it was true. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm making money off you. But I'm like, no, we make no money.
Yeah, and they're just trying to recoup, like we said, I'm sure recoup their cost. I mean, and it's really considering how much movies are to buy. It's not that, it's a 7-part docuseries.
Yeah.
So it's hours and hours of,
Yeah, they got to recoup some of it.
Yeah.
But I do love the beginning, how they do go over the history of it. Mm-hmm. And then they get into detail and explaining. But I was just shocked at what the Mormon Church was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so. So I understand.
I think he's going to get into that a lot more.
Yeah. I understand his response in the podcast or that one clip I did where he goes, no, I do blame the Mormon Church.
I know.
I don't blame Ed Young, but I do blame the Mormon Church. I understand that. And then he gets into just all the loopholes and what people are doing.
A lot of loopholes.
And it does. I feel like even just thinking about it, it's a huge distraction from our relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Just thinking about the docuseries distracts me from my relationship with Jesus Christ. So I can't even imagine having all those assets, all that money, all that. And like Nathan says in the podcast we just released, it's not a bad thing in and of itself to have
Right.
money, and you need it, and you can use it to further the kingdom of God. But I think at what point,
Right.
where do you draw the line? Like,
Right.
and
Yeah, I had this conversation with my husband last night because we were talking about, because we were going to a mega church, and I don't want to say, oh, mega churches are bad, or, mega church pastors make a lot more money than like a small church.
yeah.
But then I don't know, because we were talking about that. And it's like, well, is it bad that, he has an airplane or that he has a boat? And we're just kind of talking through all that. And I'm like, it's just like the problem that, even with our country right now, there's not so many, there's actually very few billionaires. But when you get to the point where you're a billionaire, it just seems like at some point you'd be like, wow, I have all this money. Maybe I should, instead of hoarding, getting another yacht or whatever, maybe I should help more people that are starving or that.
None of it makes any sense to me. None of it makes any sense to me.
Yeah. It's just at what point how can you have a good conscience being a billionaire? Because if you watch the news, or you just either have to get so calloused and be like, well, I just don't care. It's about me now. And I don't know. It's a disconnect that has to happen.
Well, and the Bible says we're not of this world.
Yeah.
And so like our eternity is going to be in heaven. So what is the whole point of of accumulating more stuff? I can't understand it either. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I don't even think I want a nice car. Like, I'm okay with not having a nice car.
I like my Hyundai.
Yeah, like I don't. My car, and having things, I just don't even want things. And I think the closer you draw to Jesus, he just changes you. He changes your heart. And when you work and you're helping, doing the things that the gospel tells you to do, and you have empathy and you see what's going on in the world, and you can make a difference, I just don't feel like I need.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from inside of people.
Right.
To have this great need for 15 Rolex watches and
I know.
And 14 cars.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I have all these women that I still can't find ways to get cars or help them with rent that all work, that have some money, but have little kids.
Well, and that's what the hope is in his overall message, is that of hope. Is like he was saying, Christians are generous, and it's not that they're not giving, but the money that's they don't even have to give any more than they're giving now. It's like if the money was used that's given now would be used outwardly to help the poverty and to help all these other things, there wouldn't be all these other issues. But because that doesn't happen, then we have all these problems.
Yeah, it is interesting. I would like to see I hope some churches upload so I can see.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see who's willing to do that and who's not. And if they're not, then why, Yeah.
In my mom's church, in her Lutheran church, and they had a guy that was the treasurer that was stealing money for I don't know how many years.
Yeah, what did this say? What did she say? It was in the summary thing that it said
52.
Yeah.
52 million. That was it. Is stolen.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And he was stealing for years. And I can't remember how he did it, but he's going to jail now because he wasn't just stealing from there. It was somewhere else. But she said that my mom did say the church tries to do it the right way. They lease it out during the week for a daycare for single moms.
Oh, really?
And they do. Yeah. They do all these things. They try to do the right things, but all while they were doing all that, someone was stealing. And the church was devastated. And we were talking about that, and I thought, there's so many different examples.
Yeah.
There's so many different examples. You can just go on and on and on.
Yeah. That's why it's hopeful. It's not a negative thing to talk about these things, because it's bringing change.
Yeah. And ever since we did the podcast with Nathan, I love visiting other churches anyway, but I started to go to more churches around the valley because it's summer. And I went to one last week and I loved it because they have a homeless ministry out of there. And they have like City Hope and a little truck, and they go around once a month and they help the poor and the homeless in their area. And I thought, okay, there's churches that are doing it right.
Yeah.
And then in Arizona, it's another one that they disciple. Because I see a lack of discipleship. The church grows too fast.
Yeah, and they can't keep up.
Can't. It's just too overwhelming. It's not that they don't mean to.
Yeah.
And to keep them at a size back in and being more of the representation of the New Testament churches.
Yeah.
Where you are being discipled so that you can go out and so that if the growth is too big, you're not really doing that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you just get caught up in all these things. Like, do we really need a bigger building?
You're just overwhelmed.
You know?
Yeah. Just overwhelmed. I don't know if there was anything else in that first episode.
No, I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, he goes to the Kingdom Builders conference, which is interesting because the reaction right away is like, you need to leave. You're not, associated or something with it. So yeah, that was
But he looked at the itinerary and everybody, their whole schedule, there was only 3 hours where they actually met to change the world. And the other was just
and that's what they're all about. They're there to change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that does need to happen. The truth does need to be exposed.
Yeah. You need to see who's paying for this.
Jesus is truth,
You're right. He didn't hide things.
Mm-hmm.
If a church is hiding things, no, but it looks good. I mean, because we talked to him in length about a lot of what it's about. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. And he's just trying to bring change, the right change. Right. So, All right. Well, thank you for listening. And remember, if you want a discount, click on the link in the show notes. And it might be, it's at the top of the show notes.
Yeah.
And that's it. If you want to, we never ask for this, but if you want to write a 5-star review for the podcast, a 5-star written review, that would be wonderful. Or on Spotify. Yeah.
It just helps it be before more people.
Yeah.
When you do that.
Because we forget. All the time. And then I'll be like, I should have asked them. But if you'd like to, and most people don't do it because Apple Podcasts is kind of hard to do. You got to find that little write a review. And then once you get that, and then it makes you make up a nickname. And if someone already has a nickname, it rejects it and it doesn't let you send it.
So we appreciate all of our listeners and we thank you for everyone that listens because it's been a blessing to us to do this podcast. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah. And we hope that we've gotten a lot of feedback where, a lot of people are very grateful and they've healed through the podcast and it's been very healing for them. Yeah. And that's our goal, is to provide more resources of that in the future.
Yeah, and more resources.
We try to spread it out between spiritual abuse and all types of abuse.
Yeah.
And bring in healing and be uplifting. So we hope to provide more of that in the future.
Yeah.
Now that Karen's honeymooning is
honeymoon's over.
It's not over, but it's, we had to give a little break there. And so I re-released a bunch of episodes that people hadn't heard before probably and edited those and with Diane Langberg. And,
that's one of my all-time favorites.
McKnight, and
if you haven't heard Diane Langberg,
Psalm 82.
Go listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good. I'd forgotten, and especially since you edited them, because I know on some of them, when we weren't editing, there's like longer gaps or there's and stuff. It really does make a difference.
Yeah, I think I was able to shorten them with the editing by like at least 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
Because
we appreciate your editing.
Now I got to learn how to edit video, and that's harder.
Yeah.
But I'll figure
I'm
it out.
glad it's you and not me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get it done.
Yeah. Because the audio comes out very nice and easy to listen to.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we will get some good material out for you here in the future, and we'll see who we can get booked.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
All right. So we're going to be doing some editing on this one.
Thanks for listening to the Hanging On to Hope.
She is out of practice.
It's been so long since I've introduced the podcast. Okay.
Is that my stomach or yours?
It's probably mine. I'm getting hungry.
I know I haven't eaten.
Thanks for tuning in to Hanging On to Hope. Check out our website, hangingontohope.org. There are resources on there, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, you can do that through our website. We are a brand new nonprofit, so we appreciate any and all support. And we thank you for listening. And until next time, keep hanging on to hope. We are evidence that there is hope and healing for you, and our passion is to help you find it too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, everyone.